Central Illinois News Channel, WEEK TV 25.
Residents all over Illinois are picking up the damage from yesterday's storms.
Live at 5 with Mike Dimick, Trezana Halstead, and Lee Ranson's weather. From News 25, this is Live at 5.
Good evening. Mike is on assignment. Throughout the area, severe weather is the word of the day and yesterday. Last night, a tornado roared through Marshall County. Today, residents were sorting through the damage. Adam Nielsen has more on a family that saw its renovated farmhouse destroyed. Adam?
Trezana, the Halleys of rural Varna say they're lucky it wasn't worse. Barb Halley says her husband John and son Jeremy were inside their farmhouse when the sky turned green and the winds began to roar.
He said at first he heard like a train. I don't know what he meant by that, like you know, a noise. And then he said it was just like the wind just took the part of the house. And of course my son, I mean, he ran out. And my husband said that it felt like he was, you know, getting pulled. He went running down the steps and ended up almost falling down the steps trying to get out.
The twister ripped out a large tree and sent debris a quarter-mile away. Several other homes and buildings in the area were damaged. The Halleys are now staying with relatives and say they plan to rebuild. At 6, we'll tell you which blockbuster movie they were watching previews of when the tornado roared through. Trezana?
Thanks, Adam. In northwest Illinois, a tornado touched down this morning at the Commonwealth Edison plant near Cordova. And in western Whiteside County, a tornado destroyed 3 mobile homes in Fulton. In several parts of Illinois, residents are bracing for yet another storm. In spots along the Sangamon and Illinois rivers, residents spent the day sandbagging. Meanwhile, rescuers searching for 2 Eastern Illinois University students found one body this morning at Lake Charleston. Authorities say there is no sign of the second missing student. The 2 students are presumed drowned. Searchers say the high water is hampering recovery efforts. Well, throughout the Midwest, heavy wind and rainstorms have left plenty of destruction in their wake. In Parkview, Iowa, several homes, barns, and sheds were severely damaged or even destroyed. Thunderstorms in Des Moines forced motorists to wade through flooding roads and streets. And in St. Louis, the rising Mississippi has residents worried about big flooding. So far, there's only been some street flooding near the river's banks, but volunteers began sandbagging as a precaution anyway. Officials say the skies were clear when 2 Marine helicopters collided in the dark this morning in North Carolina. 16 Marines were on board. Only 2 survived. The crash occurred during a large practice exercise between U.S. and British soldiers. Both aircraft involved in the crash carried American soldiers. Military officials are still trying to investigate why the helicopters collided.
As you know, this is a very serious accident. It's very hard to overstate the impact that something like this could have on a very close-knit military community.
Our hearts go out to the families, the friends, the loved ones of those who lost their lives. Our prayers are with those who are injured for a speedy recovery.
Officials say the swampy, wooded area where the crash took place made rescue efforts difficult. Of the 2 Marines who survived, one had minor cuts. The other is still in serious condition.
We're worried, of course, for internal injuries. Apparently he had some tests done at Camp Lejeune, and our plan is to evaluate him from head to toe, make sure that there's nothing in his abdomen that could cause him any demise.
Today's accident was the latest in a series of U.S. Navy and Marine aircraft crashes this year, and the second involving helicopters. Well, it appears former CIA Director William Colby suffered a heart attack or a stroke before he fell into a Maryland river and drowned. Colby's body was found Monday in a Maryland river near the site where his capsized boat was discovered. Colby disappeared April 27th. A medical examiner says Colby suffered hypothermia after suffering a stroke or heart attack. Authorities believe he fell into the water after he suffered from cardiac arrest. A Michigan jury is deciding if Dr. Jack Kevorkian intended for 2 women to die. That's what prosecutors say. Kevorkian's lawyer says he was merely trying to ease their suffering. Kevorkian is on trial for allegedly assisting in the deaths of 2 women in 1991. In closing arguments, prosecutors say he meant to kill them. But defense lawyer Jeffrey Feiger says Kevorkian's only intention was to help the women by easing their pain. In 2 previous trials, Kevorkian has been acquitted. Oregon's law allowing doctor-assisted suicides is still on hold for now. A federal judge today says he's keeping his injunction. Oregon voters support doctor-assisted suicides, but the judge says the law may not have adequate safeguards. It was approved in 1994, but has never been enforced because of legal battles. A federal appeals court singled out the Oregon law when it ruled that Washington state could not prohibit assisted suicide. But an Oregon judge issued a new ruling and the injunction blocking enforcement of the law. A bill that would ease the financial burdens of adoptive families sailed through the House today. Now it's headed for the Senate floor. The bill would give families a $5,000 tax break when adopting a child. It would also make it illegal for social workers to prevent children from being adopted by parents of another race. House members say this measure has nothing to do with political parties.
I went to bed at night and used to dream what it would be like to have a mother and a father. You know, that's really what this debate is all about.
The bill also received the backing of the First Lady, who met with children and adoptive parents at the White House today.
Joey, you want to say anything?
I just want to thank my mother.
Supporters say the bill could immediately help tens of thousands of children find homes. President Clinton says America's students could be rewarded if they take up more personal and civil responsibility. Clinton proposed grants of up to $500 to reward high school students who do significant work for their community. He also said every middle school and high school should make service part of its curriculum. Clinton says America in the 21st century should stress greater commitment to personal responsibility and community service. Nurses across the country rallied on Capitol Hill today, saying corporate greed is endangering the lives of patients. Today marked the second annual Nurses March on Washington. Rally-goers at the Capitol said hospital cost-cutting is replacing registered nurses with unqualified attendants. They say there are few RNs now who are able to provide proper care. One organizer says healthcare companies are enriching themselves at the expense of human lives. Well, there's more to come tonight on Live at 5, including some important information about breast cancer. When should you begin getting mammogram exams? We'll tell you what the experts say. Plus, Lee Ranson is in to tell us if the rain is finally on its way out.
If it isn't, we're in serious trouble. That's because right. We have better start building the ark. It is getting a little bit ridiculous, and yes, it looks like most of the showers are almost gone, Trezana. It looks like a nice weekend's coming up. It's going to be cooler, but it's going to be sunny. And I'll have that for you in a minute. But our question for you tonight, what type of weather is the most hazardous to aircraft? We'll answer that for you in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Heidi Bohey for NBC Primetime Tonight. Grab your pizza and pop and turn the lights down low. First, an all-new Unsolved Mysteries takes us to the land of the pharaohs, where explorers discovered and opened a deadly tomb.
People said the curse of the pharaohs. Lord Carnarvon gets this infection. He goes to the hospital. He dies.
Then an all-too-revealing Dateline Friday. Dark secrets have been locked away inside military criminal files.
I didn't think I was going to get away. I honestly thought that he was going to kill me.
Now, Dateline looks into a possible military cover-up of crimes against women and children. And next, it's an all-new homicide. A wedding, a murder, and a birth.
Get a doctor in here!
A dramatic turn of events in a life-changing episode.
She's hot, and we're going to fight to the death for her.
It's an all-new Unsolved Mysteries, Dateline Friday, and Homicide. NBC Primetime Tonight is kicking off your weekend with an arresting night of television.
So there I was, 30 seconds from the moment of truth. And since I had a little time, I paused to reflect on what had been a very active week. One thing I learned for sure. Time flies when you're flying. Wisconsin, these are the days.
Bauer Furniture is rolling back the prices on all quality Serta bedding, so roll in now for a great price.
Bauer Furniture for the home. We'll feather your nest in comfort and style.
It's powerful and it's easy to operate. Kubota can handle any job. See the complete line of Kubota diesel tractors at German's in Princeville and East Peoria.
On
on the next Seinfeld.
Do I need to borrow your bathing suit?
That's a little familiar. I don't want your boys down there.
Tonight, following News 25 at 6.
So we're going to get a break finally, is what you're telling us.
Finally, I think the rain is finally out of here. Well, we've had just so much rain. South of us is where they really have had rain. I mean, they've had up to a foot of rain in some parts of Schuyler County in the last week. We haven't had a foot of rain around here in a year.
We don't want a foot of rain.
And we don't want it all at one time. You're absolutely right. But it does look like we have a nice weekend coming up. Temperatures right now, you can see they've already dropped here in Peoria. The cold front has just now passed us by. 56 degrees in Peoria. That's our low so far today. Still 65 over in Bloomington normal. High humidity, of course, with the rain still in the air out there. Winds have switched out of the north, so that's where we're getting our cool air from. And the barometer is going back up again. 72 was our high just a few hours ago before that front moved through. 56 our low so far for the day, giving us a mean of 64. Normal is 60, so we are 4 degrees on the plus side for the day. It looks like most of the heavier rainfall has moved on. We did have a severe thunderstorm watch out for some of the counties south of the immediate Peoria area, but that was ended about 2:17 this afternoon as they saw this huge line of thunderstorms move on and dissipate. You can see here's the Doppler radar now. Hardly anything. Every once in a while there'll be some little showers pop up, and there's still some showers back out here that could possibly move in, but it looks like they're going to move on to the south of us as this system is moving to the direct east. Thunderstorms now, the heavy storms, have moved into just north of Louisville and almost to Cincinnati. Those things were really whipping along out there. You can see on the national picture that we still have some shower activity back here to the west of us, but as I say, it should pass to the south. Chances for light showers, that's about it for the rest of the evening, and then cooler air starts to move in, and it's a lot cooler. Look at this. They're calling for 20s in the central part of Wisconsin and down to Minneapolis tonight for lows. 30s across the northern part of the state. We're going to be in the 40s, and tomorrow's highs are not going to warm up very much. You're going to notice a huge difference in what the temperatures have been the past couple of days. We're only going to recover into the 50s, but we should see the sunshine, so it's going to make it feel an awful lot nicer. Here's that forecast now for tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, a few lingering showers. Our low temperature around 45. Winds out of the north 10 to 20 will actually make it feel a little cooler than that. Then on Saturday it'll be partly sunny, a high only 55, but at least the sunshine shall be out. Winds will be out of the north 10 to 15. And that question for you, what type of weather is the most hazardous to aircraft? You could probably ask Governor Jim Edgar this. Thunderstorms, absolutely right. They certainly do not like to be out there flying in the middle of a thunderstorm with the lightning happening around them. Trezana, to you.
Thanks, Lee. I'm sure Governor Edgar appreciates that question. Well, each year the Peoria Ballet dazzles us with a variety of performances. This year the ballet turns 30. And to honor the occasion, a special anniversary will be held at the Madison Theater. Mary Price Baudet is the choreographer of the anniversary performance, which will take place next Saturday, right?
That's correct,
well,
May 18th.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Now, first of all, there's something special musically that's happening with this anniversary.
William Wilson is conducting, and members of the Peoria Symphony will be playing in the orchestra.
Okay, now why is it so rare that the orchestra gets the chance to play with the ballet company?
It's not a chance for us. It's a great opportunity that they are playing with us. It's a question of money for the ballet company. We would like to have the orchestra all the time for many of the performances, but we're not always able to afford it. So this time it's very special, and the very first performance definitely had an orchestra, and we wanted to keep the continuity, and hopefully in the future we'll have an orchestra all the time.
Okay, now I know that since you choreographed all the pieces, because there is the orchestra, you also did something special with the ballet as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
We're doing 5 different works, and they're on a classical venue. It's all in point, classical steps, and I tried to represent the different musical instruments in the orchestra. So like for one of the pieces, a Saint-Saëns septet, there's 11 female dancers, and you want to have a quartet doing one thing, a trio doing something else, soloist doing something else. Just like you hear in the orchestra, you hear the different instruments, and there are a lot of patterns. So I'm hoping that people sit back a little bit, they can see the different patterns going on.
Now some people might say, wow, how does she get a dancer to represent an instrument? How do you come up with these ideas?
Well, I studied piano for 10 years, classical piano, because I was going to play an organ originally before I decided to be a dancer. And so I have some musical background, and I look at it that way.
Okay.
When I hear the music.
Tell us how we can still get tickets, because I hope we can. Right?
We certainly can. We can call either the Madison Theater at 674-7529 or the Peoria Ballet at 673-3680 to obtain tickets. And you know, there's a special gala birthday party, and that's at 6:30, and everyone's invited to that. And the performance is at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Well, hopefully a lot of people will turn out, and we'll get to see more of the orchestra with the ballet in the future.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Well, our medical journal is next on Live at 5. Experts call it a startling breakthrough in AIDS research. We'll tell you what they found. Plus, a simple check could help any woman detect an early sign of breast cancer. But how early should you start taking those tests?
It takes a special kind of place to call your home, call it your own.
The best in skilled nursing and rehabilitation services is just minutes away at Heartland Healthcare Center. You deserve the best. Come feel the difference caring makes. For information on the Heartland Healthcare Center, located conveniently near you, call 1-800-975-9545.
Mother's Day is almost here. Why not treat her to a Dairy Queen frozen cake? They're sweet and beautiful like her, and they're DQ through and through. And don't forget graduation.
Live at 5 is simulcast on News Talk 102.
Like some factual information on the new Chevrolet now?
Fact. You always get our lowest possible price on every truck and van at Jim McComb's Truck Store.
We're coming through with the lowest possible price on Central Illinois' best trucks and vans.
Talk to Van Factory reps and save thousands on brand new conversion vans from StarCraft, Custom Craft, and Archer Coach. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only.
I like it. One price for you. Coming through with no hassle buying at the corner truck store. Jim McComb's Chevy Geo.
Soon, you may be offered a managed health care plan, and this means choosing doctors to coordinate your care. So if you're at this crossroad, remember that Health Alliance bases its choice of doctors on the ones you know and prefer, which means you're not only getting an affordable health plan, you're getting one you can feel comfortable with, too.
The doctors you prefer, a plan you can afford, together with Health Alliance. For information, call 1-800-851-3379 or ask your employer for details.
Boy, Dad, I want to do that when I grow up.
Well, if you do, I hope you're as careful as he is.
If you operate heavy equipment, watch out for overhead power lines. It'll be a lot safer for you and for everyone around you. At Silco, we care about your safety.
Has mad cow disease made you concerned about the meat you eat? Recent news events have made many people question the safety of the food they buy at grocery stores and restaurants. Get the facts about food safety in a special report tonight on News 25 at 6.
In tonight's medical journal, U.S. AIDS researchers say they've made a big discovery. They've identified the protein that helps the AIDS virus infect white blood cells. It's called fusin, and without it, the AIDS virus can't hit its primary target. A group at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases found the protein. The impact of the discovery won't be felt right away, but the leader of the group says this ends 10 years of frustration and removes a big obstacle in the search for a cure. Edward Berger says the discovery suggests some things that had not even been considered about how the HIV virus works. The National Cancer Institute is taking a hard look at its own recommendations on when women should begin having regular mammograms. Currently, the NCI recommends women over 50 get regular exams, but physicians around the country are saying that's not soon enough. Doreen Gensler has more.
The National Cancer Institute took a lot of criticism 3 years ago for reversing its position, saying women in their 40s don't need regular mammograms. The NCI said it's safe to begin the regular exams at the age of 50. But now a Swedish study reveals a lower death rate among women who started getting mammograms in their 40s. And there's more research suggesting breast cancer spreads more quickly in younger women.
Women in their 40s do get breast cancer. At our institution here, 40%
of all the women who have mammographically detected breast cancers are women under the age of 50.
Dr. Ted Sangara says all of this leaves women feeling confused. He says most physicians never change their recommendations to their women patients.
Self-breast exam on a monthly basis, yearly physical, and yearly screening mammogram for women age 40 and above.
Doreen Gensler for NBC News.
The NCI will convene a panel of experts this fall to review the new Swedish study. Based on their conclusions, it may change its standards. Well, sports is next on Live at 5. A scare tactic for the Bulls? Tony Kukoc. Plus, is home ice really nice for the Rivermen? We'll let you know next.
Experience Sheridan Village, Peoria's smart shopping headquarters. For fashion apparel and home furnishings, come to the right place. Bergner's. Genghis Formal Wear, the world's largest formal renter, offers the best selection and service in town. Ask about our tuxedo seasonal specials. From furniture to braided rugs to home accessories to gifts and collectibles, Village Plantation has it all. Convenient parking, friendly service, a wide variety for your shopping pleasure. Sheridan Village makes smart shopping easy, located at Sheridan and Lake.
Schwinn, Specialized, Cannondale, Russell's. Hi, I'm Joe Russell, and it's spring breakaway time, folks, and these are the only names you need to know. Come to our new store and find a world of bikes and accessories. There's no place like Russell's anywhere. The store is huge, filled with the quality merchandise you've come to know us for, and it's all on sale. We're here to help and give you that wonderful service you deserve. Russell's Cycling and Fitness Center. Come see and save big during our gigantic spring breakaway sale going on now at the new Russell's Cycling and Fitness Center, Old Route 24 in Washington.
Hanging flower gardens add color to your patio. Semi-shady locations are best. Water daily and fertilize monthly. Select your hanging baskets at Hare Nursery.
Everyone's making Nancy's Hallmark in Bartonville their gift, party, and collectible store. Here's why. Shoebox greeting cards, memories of yesterday, dreamsicles and precious moments, wedding, anniversary, party wear, candy, frames, and gifts for every occasion. When you care enough to send the very best, you'll choose Nancy's Hallmark in Bartonville, located next to Kroger in Bartonville Square.
In 1985, News 25 revealed Central Illinois' 10 most powerful leaders. There have been a lot of changes since then. News 25 and Interbusiness Issues are teaming up to see who are taking leadership roles now. The top 10 include business, government, and community leaders, and 9 new faces. Find out which leaders you choose as Central Illinois' 10 most powerful. The countdown starts Sunday night when Mike Demick unveils the 10th through 6th place finishers. It's Central Illinois' 10 most powerful leaders, starting Sunday on News 25 Nightside.
Here's a limited time opportunity to save $5,000 or more on luxurious high-quality Explorer and Gladiator conversion vans. Own one for only $19,995.
A Gary Uftrings.
One stop.
Price.
Drive it on home.
Truck stop.
Pick your payment and choose any of these used cars or trucks for only $127 a month. A 92 Ford Tempo, 91 Chevy Lumina, or an 87 Pontiac Fiero. Your choice, only $127 a month.
In tonight's Live at 5 Sports, the Peoria Rivermen hope to even the score tonight. The Rivermen trail the Utah Grizzlies 2-1, but history could be on Peoria's side. Historically, in Game 4, the Rivermen own a 10-6 advantage in victories. They know this time, though, that they'll have to get Utah a little earlier. Peoria didn't score until the third period of Wednesday night's 3-1 loss. Face-off for tonight's game is at 7:38. In other sports news, the St. Louis Blues are back on home ice tonight as they try to even up their series with the Detroit Red Wings. And in basketball, Chicago Bulls forward Tony Kukoc was taken to the hospital after being injured in practice today. Kukoc injured his lower back and was taken to the hospital by ambulance. His condition is unknown at the present time. The Bulls play at New York tomorrow afternoon. Chicago leads the best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal series 2-0. Join Lee Hall for the rest of the day's sports news tonight on News 25 at 6. On to Talk Back. Does taping a prisoner's confession violate ethics? It might if the prisoner's confessing to a priest. That incident actually happened in Oregon, and now the Catholic Church in Oregon is asking for the tape to be destroyed. But authorities disagree. They say only attorney-client discussions are exempt from taping in prisons. On Talk Back, we asked you if the confession should be allowed.
When I was 9 years old, I confessed to a Catholic priest that I was suffering sexual abuse by a brother. Because of the confidentiality in the confessional, my parents and other authorities were not told. As a result, I suffered for 8 years. I'm still the victim, and my brother never has taken any responsibility because he's never been held accountable by anyone.
The person confides in a priest and in the name of the Lord. Therefore, I feel that if they have absolute confinement of information, they need to keep that between one and the inmate.
Absolutely not. You can't accept the priest's testimony, but you're mixing church and state. That's a separate entity completely.
If a person has, something they did illegal that is sinful, they need to answer to God.
The church and the state have always been separate, and the state has always protected the confessional.
Thanks for the calls. The State House passed a bill yesterday that would protect employers from lawsuits when they provide employee references. The bill would protect from suits filed by employees who are unhappy about bad references. Employers groups are supporting the bill. Labor organizations are fighting against it. On Talkback, we ask you, should the state pass a law to protect employers from being sued over an employee reference? Talkback now at 698-1810. You can call throughout the weekend. We'll have your comments Monday on Live at 5.
Well, you should have seen Dave when I first met him. A different major every semester, hair down to here.
Hey, it was all part of my plan. Well, it must have worked. Great house.
Great furniture. Where do you find all this beautiful stuff? Lipman's.
Lipman's?
Yeah, Lipman's. They've got the best furniture, the best prices, and professionals who help us every step of the way.
Great planning, huh? Oh, yeah, Dave.
Lipman's, for the way you want to live. Peoria and Bloomington Normal.
There's never been a carpet sale like this. Why? Because New York Carpet World has everything that's new, all that's exciting, innovative, on sale to 60% off.
Flushes, multicolors, geometrics, sisals, florals, Berbers, pin dots.
Everything that's unique, different. See it all in one place to 60% off.
Textures, country looks, Victorians, contemporary weaves, patterns, graphics.
See all the current looks, all to 60% off. And there's credit free with no payments till next year. Only at New York Carpet World. Only till Saturday.
Direct from the mills of Georgia. Truckload savings on the best carpet America can make. Arriving at GCO, your Georgia carpet outlet. Save on Berbers, textures, and plush. Prices start as low as $4, and nothing's over $14 a square yard. Truckloads of carpet from Georgia. Priced to save you even more now at GCO, your Georgia carpet outlet. Buy now and get 6 months free financing. No payment, no interest for 6 months at GCO, your Georgia carpet outlet.
Pick your payment and own any of these used cars or trucks for only $155 a month. 93 Pontiac Sunbird, 93 Ford Tempo, 93 Mitsubishi Mirage. Your choice, only $155 a month.
Take your choice. Low mileage 96 Old Sierras or 95 Cutlass Supremes, only $13,995. They're both loaded with V6, air, automatic, power windows, and locks. Choose a 95 Supreme or 96 Sierra for only $13,995. Either way, you save thousands at Uftring Chevy Old Saab Geo.
Tonight, no one knew this man's secret. For 56 years, he's worked in a factory, the whole time planning. And now, no one can believe what he did.
It makes me feel good.
It's an American dream. Watch NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw tonight.
You would consider dancing with me, would you? I'd consider it. Then I'd say no. I'm not much of a dancer, but... No. You know, I wouldn't blame you if you said no. Would you like to dance with?
If at first you don't succeed, you're pretty normal. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Here's a look at our headlines tonight at 5. Throughout Illinois, residents are trying to get ahead and trying to catch up from the recent severe thunderstorms. Scores of residents are picking up from the damage. Others are sandbagging to keep the floods away. Officials are trying to figure out what caused 2 U.S. military helicopters to collide during training exercises in North Carolina. 14 Marines were killed. And jurors in Michigan are in their 3rd hour of deliberations. They're deciding if Jack Kevorkian assisted in 2 women's suicides. Coming up on News 25 at 6, we'll have details on an attempted murder in Peoria involving a 16-year-old boy. Plus, English as a second language is a very popular class taught in Central Illinois. And we've all heard of mad cow disease, but is the food we eat in the United States safe? We get more on that story from Tom McIntyre in the newsroom. Mac?
That's right, Rosanna. Just how safe is the food you eat? That's the question that's being asked. And a lot depends on the food supply. But the U.S. Department of Agriculture has strict guidelines on food safety. However, once that food gets to your local supermarket, it's up to you to make sure the food you're handling and preparing is safe. Tonight on News 25 at 6, OK Parker gives us some tips, indeed, on how to make sure you're eating healthy. That story and more coming up in a half hour on News 25 at 6. Rosanna?
Thanks, Mac. Well, finally for tonight, a Tokyo man may get to cash in on what his cat dragged in. Kenji Fukei's pet was a little curious. His cat Peru brought home a dead sparrow with a plastic bag attached to it. Ugh. The bag contained yen worth about $1,500 and a piece of paper. Police won't say what's on the paper, but say the contents might identify an owner. Under Japanese law, if an owner is found within the next 6 months, that person will get the money back. Otherwise, Fukei gets the money and can add to his family kitty. I don't know if I would have opened that bag. Well, that's it for Live at 5. Don't forget our talkback question. Should employers be allowed to protect themselves from being employed over a bad employee reference? We'll have that all throughout the weekend. Nightly News is next. Have a good weekend. Good night.
14 dimes.